It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another episode of the Mike Prince Show. It's Football Friday. And of course, it is our mission to try to bring you some news that you could use. Today will be no exception to that rule. You can follow me on Twitter at the Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is the OpenMic Broadcast Network. Our website is obnradio.com, and we have a 24-hour message line just for your leisure and pleasure. 713-570-6736. And without any further delay, we are going to slide right into today's episode. Of course, we take pride in our daily productions. We take pride in the content in which we cover and follow closely. And I am sure that everyone that is connected to this network and other platforms that offer the same thing feel the exact same way. With all that being said and all of the commotion that has been going on throughout the week with John Gruden and his comments and the racial tension that we act like is not there but is there, and it all depends on who it's attacking and what level or degree that attack is coming from, that we respond in a certain way. But as far as I'm concerned, I think some of us have been naive to this whole incident and other incidents that happen before our very eyes each and every day. But for whatever reason, we don't get excited about that until it hits a certain plateau. And my question to that is, could it be more damage than what we consider major news? Because there's an old saying, it's the small foxes that destroy the vines. And if you keep taking and turning the other cheek, then things begin to build and we become immune to certain behaviors that it begins to feel like it's actually normal. Mike, what are you talking about? I'm going to explain, or at least try to explain, what I'm talking about when we return. I'm going to take a quick break and bring it right back. You're listening to the Football Friday edition of the Mike Prince Show.
Have sports, we'll travel. The OpenMic Broadcast Network serving student athletes from Little League, high school, and collegiate coverage right here on the OpenMic Broadcast Network. From coast to coast, from dusk till dawn. You can catch all student athletic action right here at the OpenMic Broadcast Network, the station designed with you in mind. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the OpenMic Broadcast Network, the voice of student athletics.
The OpenMic Broadcast Network would like to take this time to recognize its sponsors and underwriters: Attorney Lee Van Richardson, Brazos Valley Schools Credit Union, Prairie View Athletic Club, Temple of Refuge Ministries, Reflections Paint and Body Shop, Helping Hands Lawn Service, Diva Skin Conditioner, Purple Drip Daiquiri and Grill. For more information on how you can become an underwriter or a sponsor here at the OpenMic Broadcast Network, our number to call is 832-213-8824. Serving the community through faith and athletics, the OpenMic Broadcast Network, Prairie View, Texas. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our Football Friday edition of the Mike Prince Show. Don't forget, you can follow us each and every day. And when I say each and every day, that's exactly what I mean. Monday through Sunday, Of course, Monday through Friday is the Mike Prince Show daily podcast release. Saturdays is Sports Report Saturday. Sunday is actually the live edition of the Mike Prince Show, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And speaking of this Sunday's edition, we'll be on remote location, and normally you listen live through the website here at obnradio.com. But if you want to listen live to Sunday edition of the Mike Prince Show, you have to dial in. You have to use the old phone. We call it our low-tech app. That phone number will be 857-777-0000. Give that number one more time, 857-777-0000. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you desire to listen to it on demand, of course, it'll be posted by any way that you listen to your daily podcast. Google Store, Google Podcasts, the Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the whole shebang. However you get it, you can check us out. Meanwhile, games of significance this weekend. Of course, the Panthers will be on the road taking care of Bethune-Cookman. You have Texas Southern on the road to take on the Grambling State Tigers. The Southern Jaguars are on the road taking on University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. It's going to be another epic battle between Alabama A&M and Florida A&M. Jackson State will be taking on Alabama State, and Mississippi Valley will be hosting Alcorn. So a full slate on the weekend. And of course, don't forget, when the Panthers have completed their contest against the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats, you can get a recap and summary live on this network. The after party, 1876 after party, will break down what was and what wasn't for the Panthers Wildcats recap. And don't forget, we'll have Coach Eric Dooley right here on the OpenMic Broadcast Network Sunday night, 6 p.m. Now back to, I guess, the concern or issue or the commentary of the day. We heard, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the details, or at least to a degree, some of the details of conversations that were going on between Bruce Allen and John Gruden. And my initial response was, hey, why are we surprised? Why are we acting like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening? It's happening each and every day. It is what it is. But the problem that I have with the entire situation is that we become selective on what we would consider offensive or crossing the line. And my question or thought for today would simply be, are there different degrees of racism, different degrees of discrimination, different degrees of being over someone or somebody's, as long as you do it with discretion? Does it matter how it's done? But the fact that it's being done seems not to create the uproar that we've had in the case of John Gruden. We know that it is an issue, and it has been an issue, will continue to be an issue. And I was taught that if you ever want to find out the core of anything, follow the money. And when we follow the money, we must start at the top. And since we've been talking about football, there are 32 NFL franchises. 32 of them. Not one African American owner. Not one conglomerate of African Americans that own one of these 32 franchises. Okay, let's start there. Of course, the big issue has been African Americans in the role of leadership, i.e., general managers, head football coaches. Okay, and all that's great. Now, we're talking races, or we're talking race issues. If 70% of your organization, or let's say 70% of the workload of the workforce of your organization is African American, 70%, does it not concern folks other than myself that that's a problem? Okay? And we talk about fair play, equal opportunities, this, that, and the other. Okay, that's fine. What about, and I'm just talking now, what ESPN is doing? It is obvious that ESPN has established a plantation scenario and mentality amongst everyone involved. And when I say a plantation mentality, I'm not specifically saying geared at African American institutions, but as a total package, ESPN has created a plantation scenario. Once again, follow the money. And what is a plantation scenario? What is a plantation mentality? Where when you know a situation is bad, you know it's wrong, but you still ask yourself these type of questions. Where else we gonna go? What else are we going to do? How are we gonna make it? Massa been good to us. Mr. Charlie been fair to us. That is a plantation mentality. Now, some of you are not liking what I'm saying, and you're entitled to that, and some of you will probably stop following me. You're entitled to that as well. But to thy own self be true. You can't tell me that the disgust that you've had with John Gruden and Bruce Allen's conversation should not be the same impact on how ESPN is handling anyone other than a Power 5 institution, especially of an HBCU descent. No matter what you say, how you try to justify it, you cannot tell me that the HBCU platforms, in this case, will keep it with Division I rankings, the MEAC and the Southwestern Athletic Conference, cannot reach a 1% plateau in comparison of what ESPN freely gives the SEC. That's a problem. That's just as egregious as the content that was coming from John Gruden in conversation with Bruce Allen. Now, Mike, that's a bit extreme. That's a bit overboard. Mike, you need to bring it down a notch. Do I really need to bring it down a notch? When you look at the scenario that has been set through the plantation approach of ESPN toward everyone else, but in this case of the HBCU content, they double dip us. They take up all the content, charge you and I extra to watch our teams, our institutions, okay? And then they give us a percentage back of the very content that we produce, that we consume, that we're supporting financially. And it all goes back to what will and what will not be accepted. I know this is a hard pill to swallow, and I know somebody is saying, why is Mike going down this rabbit hole? It's a simple answer. It must be done. It must be discussed. And things must change. There is absolutely no other narrative. Things must change. And the change begins with you and I. It truly does. Now, those who love to be analytical, those who like to break down the numbers, break down the numbers. We can support what needs to be supported if that's what we desire to support. And I don't care if we had to get cans and string to communicate and broadcast whatever our content is. Show us where to go, and we will meet you there. It's been proven. We boast on the numbers of leading the entire FCS in attendance as far as the Southwestern Athletic Conference is concerned. We get the moving of the needle with the Celebration Bowl. You think just because the Celebration Bowl is on ESPN that's the only reason the people are watching? No, the people are watching because it is content that is desirable. It is content that we want to support. And if you had it on the Bubblegum Network, once we knew how to get access to the Bubblegum Network, we will show up. So let us really unveil all the covers. And yes, what Gruden said was harsh, shocking, unbearable. But sometimes people are speaking without opening their mouths simply by the way they handle us. And if we continue to allow them to handle us in that way, why else would they change? Why would I volunteer to make things right when you've been okay with things being subpar? You've never had a problem about it before. Now all of a sudden there's a problem. Well, sometimes you just got to stand up and say, you know what? Enough is enough. And let it do what it do. Now, we all like to entertain and like to be entertained, and that's part of what we do. But it's also a part of informing. It's part of educating. It's also a part of bringing about an awareness that must be addressed. And charity begins at home. My challenge is to our leadership, from the presidents, athletic directors, head coaches, all the way down. We always talk about the exposure. Well, once upon a time, I could understand the narrative of why you would lean towards certain networks. But we're in the 21st century now. Accessibility is all around us. It's right at our fingertips. Let's stop the passive approach of addressing what we know that needs to be addressed, and let's make some real changes. Let's make some changes of significance. Let's really and truly raise the standards. We can do it. We've already proven that we could do it. If the truth be told, for the most part, we're providing the production for these things to be on our current platform. So we already have the know-how. We have the skill set. It can be done. But if we're going to cry foul, let's cry foul on all of them that need to be foul cried upon. And let's stay consistent and let our cause continue to speed on its way. I am going to exit stage left. I know this may have been a bit heavy for you on today, and I'm not going to apologize for it, but I do feel like this was something that truly needed to be addressed. We are a people of action. We are a nation of constant change. And from the infamous words of Sam Cooke, a change has got to come. Not gonna come, got to come. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Don't forget, you can, if you desire, follow me on Twitter at The Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel, the OpenMic Broadcast Network. Subscribe to our channel. Click the like or the dislike button if this content or any other content that we produce strikes a chord or it's a swing and a miss. And speaking of swing and a miss, before we go, what a game between the Dodgers and the Giants. Epic finish. That's what makes baseball great. If you can, meet us 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, you have to dial 857-777-0000 to catch us live. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince, and until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.